everyone. So today we are talking about manifesting your SP 10 times quicker. So let's get right into the video. And I'll assume that you have landed on this video because you already know what SP stands for, but I'll just give a little introduction for those who don't know what SP is. So SP is short for specific person, and specific person doesn't necessarily have to be like a romantic specific person. It can be anyone, like for example, it can be like a teacher, it can be your friend, it can be just your manager. Pretty much it can be anyone that you're targeting manifestation wise. I also started learning about the law of assumption as well as the law of attraction. It was actually due to wanting an SP in the beginning, and I know that a lot of people also want to manifest their SP in their lives, so pretty much I can relate to those that are trying to manifest their SPs at this current time. So since I mentioned that I also have tried manifesting an SP, so I know some tips and tricks that helped me manifest my specific person. So I'm just gonna let everyone know some of those tips and tricks. And I did have success with the law of assumption ways of manifesting my SP, but before that I was applying the law of attraction concepts, and I did attract some things, but not like the things that I truly needed, like my SB, other things which I wanted in my life. But the law of assumption does work, and actually now I have an amazing self-concept in relation to romantic relationships. Before, in the past, I didn't have such a strong assumption in that category, but now I just have this assumption or a belief now, I will say, that I'm pretty good in romantic relationships. So that's pretty much working in my advantage. So I wanted to help those that are struggling a bit in this category. And I also wanted to let you know, I'll just have some snippets of what law of assumption is, because I do want a lot of people to know what is the law of assumption, not just doing the techniques just as is. Since in my reality or in my assumptions, I believe that understanding a bit more about the concepts of law of assumption I think is quite important in manifesting. You don't necessarily need it to manifest your SB, but I think it does help, especially when you're, for example, wavering or spiraling. If you just know about these concepts, I think they would help. I wanted to let you know, in law of assumption, everything that you actually experience in your 3D reality is pretty much just a reflection of your thoughts and your beliefs. So always know that your 3D reality is just a reflection of your inner world. So pretty much what you're experiencing in this 3D reality, everything that you can touch, smell, hear, is pretty much the 3D reality. And whatever we experience in this particular reality is pretty much everything that's going on in your inner world. So pretty much in law of assumption, you yourself are in charge of your story that you're experiencing here on earth, and you are the director of your story. So no one else has the power to be able to control you and your experiences but yourself. Just know that, and just know how powerful you are. You are the creator of your life. And what I also learned as well as see is a lot of people, when manifesting their SP, do put them on a pedestal, like it's like a goal and that they have to reach this goal, which is pretty much not true. I know it is hard to grab a concept of, because I want you to know that you're the god of your reality and you're the creator. So why would your SP be above you? You should be above your SP. And to be able to not put your SP on a pedestal, I do also believe that in conjunction to creating assumptions about your SP, I feel as though it is also important to work on your self-concept as well. And probably a lot of people just wants to focus on your SP and not on self-concept. I totally understand. I was also in the same way as well. And also from personal experience, actually working on my self-concept actually attracted my SP more to me than even focusing on my SP actually. So I believe that to work on SP as well as self-concept together, and then it'll be 10 times as powerful than just working on your SP. Also, working on your self-concept, it just makes you feel great. It makes you feel much happier and it makes you feel limitless and powerful at the same time. So I definitely recommend working on your self-concept while manifesting your SP. That's how you'll be able to manifest your SP 10 times quicker, by focusing on your self-concept as well. And for myself, I do not like to usually have too many affirmations or else my brain will become quite confused. So I recommend having one SP affirmation, and for self-concept, maybe one or two. When creating an affirmation, you want the affirmation to reflect that you're already in your end goal or more than your end goal. Like, for example, if my goal was to be in a relationship with SP or like be girlfriend and boyfriend with SP, my affirmations will probably be I'm in a long-term committed relationship with my SP, or something along the lines of I am in a happy, committed, long-term relationship with my SP. Or you can be like, SP is such a loving and caring boyfriend. Or I know some people, they like to be like, oh, my SP and I are married, or we're in a loving marriage. Me and my SP are in a loving marriage. That can also work as well. It's totally up to you. But for myself, since I'm, for example, I'm not specifically looking for marriage, I want to be in a relationship with SP before deciding on that. For myself, if I'm manifesting a relationship with the SP, I would say that I am in a long-term committed relationship with my SP. I will just recommend to have affirmations that work for you specifically. And for example, like an affirmation that I create for myself might work for me, but it might not work for you. It's whatever you resonate with. So I will just maybe have some more affirmation examples, or if you're looking to create some more different affirmations, you can always ask me and we can come up with some affirmations or different ones that work for each person. But just know that everyone's different, so everyone will have different affirmations for yourself. So some techniques that I like to use during the course of a day, usually like for myself, I would sometimes use Sammy's technique. I think it's Sammy's technique, the 10-minute focusing sessions. I used to do those and they do work. Like the ones where you sit and focus affirm for 10 minutes 3 times a day. And of course, after that, you'll have like your robotic sessions, just repeating those affirmations that you have created throughout the day or whenever you're thinking about your SP. For myself, I'm not that great of a focuser, so I usually don't do 10 minutes. I would do shorter time frames. Like for example, I would do usually 3 to 5 minutes per session, but when I'm actually affirming during those 3 to 5 minute sessions, I'm only focusing on that affirmation and I'm like doubling down on my focusing. Like if my mind wanders off to like other topics, or I also my mind actually likes to daydream quite a lot, so if I start to daydream a bit, I would tell myself no, and then I would go back to focusing on my affirmations. So I would usually have a 3 to 5 minute affirmation session. So if it's SP, maybe I would recommend doing like a 5-minute focusing on the SP affirmation, and then I'll do a 3-minute on self-concept. Per affirmation, I will do 5 minutes SP focus saturation session. I will do 3 minutes self-concept session, Like for example, every guy that I want wants me 1,000 times more. And then a second self-concept affirmation, all guys are begging for me to be their girlfriend. Those are the 3. And then I would do that like at least 3 times a day, at least 3 times to maybe 6 times a day, since they're quite short. So I would spread it throughout the day. And also, if you ever think about your SP or relationship or anything in that particular sense, you want to repeat your affirmation just whenever you think about your manifestation. So if you're thinking about your SP, just robotically affirm that SP and I are in a long-term committed relationship with each other. Another thing to keep in mind is for you to get your SP 10 times quicker, you should try to avoid wavering. I know it happens, we're all humans, it happens to me as well, but actually getting in your daily affirmations, like your technique, your scheduled 3 times a day at least affirming session, will actually help you with your wavering. So you'll think less of the undesired scenario versus the desired scenario. I just quickly drew out a diagram. Sorry, I'm not an artist, and I just quickly drew out a sketch. But you know how like there is a scale? This is kind of pretty much at equilibrium over here, but to tilt it so that your new desired scenario outweighs the previous scenario that you have, and then that's when you'll get your manifestations happening in this 3D reality or this world that we're in. So that's kind of how I would explain manifestation at its core. Let me know if you try out these techniques, this mini saturation session, as well as robotically affirm when you have time. But what I want you guys to focus on is whenever you think about your undesired scenario, you want to fight against that with your desired scenario through your affirmations that you have created. And that's how you'll stop wavering, and eventually the skill is gonna shift over. You will be able to create an assumption and then a belief of your desired manifestation, which is your SP, and then you'll be having a long-term committed relationship with your SP. So if you try this technique or anything like that, please let me know. And if there's any questions or anything like that, also let me know as well. Yeah.